fuck yourself.
Yo, what's poppin'? All my peeps, it is I, your host with the most, Renaissance man, who always thinks he can, and your champion of the peeps, Patty Pitts, back once again in the Yard of Streams for another edition of Pitts and Sara's Wrestling Show, where we take no nights off. Oh, my wings hurt. And it's not just me, Patty P, here in the Yard of Streams. I'm joined, as always, by the best of the West. You can't forget about Sara Marshall. What's poppin', girl?
Hey, yo.
Hello.
Hola. How we doing
We're doing.
on this fantastic Friday? Not recording.
I wanted to do this quickly. Bernard, if you're still here, me and Pat would like to be on your show next week on Thursday.
Oh.
So we
Yeah,
can
we
talk
gotta call.
so we can talk Money in the Bank with you guys. If that
Yes.
is a possibility.
That
I
would
just
be
wanted to
great.
say that because he was here and I wanted to try and catch him while he was here.
That's great. No, if we're out here, we're cutting our own promos and we're calling out. We want to join forces with the
Yeah.
guys over at Ringside Rant to talk Money in the Bank. We'll be doing our predictions on Wednesday so that we can go on their show to talk Money in the Bank. I had a lot of fun when we hopped into the ring with them.
Mhm.
Or I forget what show we did. I think it was some sort of prediction show we were on with them.
Yeah, it was. I don't remember which show though. Time
And
goes
I'd like
by
to.
so fast.
It does. Time goes by freaking fast. It's crazy that we were in Vegas for Mania. Like, it was a month ago, but it feels like, like 2 weeks ago, really.
Oh, it was the Rumble.
The Rumble.
Better memory because I'm like, dude, everything just like mushes together for me.
No, seriously. Yeah.
Especially during the off season, because like I don't really have an off season when it comes to my job because football is 24/7 for me. So like it can be kind of confusing for me to remember when anything was happening. It's like I don't know.
And a lot has happened in the Wrestleverse, not only since we've been on there, but every week it feels like something major has gone on that years ago would have been like a 2-3 week thing, but that type of news just hits in a day and then you're already on to the next story. So it is wild. I'm with you. I mean, there's some shit that I got here in my notes and that happened this week that I kind of forgot about because of the news that broke today. There was 2 wrestling shows that have happened since we last went live. Well, 3 if you want to count NXT on Tuesday, but whatever. Like, it's just wild how crazy shit is right now and how popular wrestling is at the moment. It's nice. I mean, it's just really nice to see that. So yeah, it's been great. And we had AWR. Okay, so yeah, unless you got anything else no, I'm kind of like I'm going through some mental gymnastics to see if I want to hear from the peeps now or if you got anything else to add about how you're doing.
No,
you have nothing to add. All right,
no,
that's fine because we need to hear from the peeps. The bad guy says, "What's up?" Sophia wished Roman Reigns a happy birthday with her boyfriend in OTC shirts, which I'd get that shirt. I would. There are a few wrestling shirts that I would get right now of current talent because of designs. That is one that I would like. And
you should be proud of me for something that I ordered for my nephew.
What? What'd you get?
So you know how I got the Razor Ramon Big Shot pillow thing? Yeah, it's called a Big Shot. It's not a Brawlin' Buddy, but you know what I mean.
That's the word I was looking for. Yeah.
So my nephew loves to beat it up, and I'm like, all right. He doesn't know who this guy is. He just knows that he's one of my favorites, and he's dead. That's like all he knows. And I was like, maybe I should get him one because his birthday is in 2 weeks.
Oh yeah.
Guess which one I ordered?
Penta.
Nope.
You'll
be proud of me for ordering.
Jey Uso. There you go. I feel like, here's the thing with that though, Sarah. I feel like you're going to brawl with that buddy. Like you're gonna
because I can beat his ass, you know?
That's what I'm saying. Like you're just
well, because like my sister was like, I asked her, I'm like, should I get him the Penta one or should I get him the Jey Uso one? Because he's like really into Jey right now. And I was like, and she was like, not Jey. And I'm like, because she can't stand him right now either. And she's like a long time Uso fan because she was like in love with them. Okay. But she just like hates the yeet and stuff like that. So she was like, not that. And I was like, well, because he's so into eating and like whatever. And I'm like, well, if I get him this, it's better than me buying him a t-shirt. And she's like, no, that's a good idea because at least he can't wear it. And I was like, there you go. I was like, and he's beating him up.
Yeah.
That is like the perfect thing. So yeah, so I got him that for his birthday.
How old is he gonna be?
7.
Okay.
Yes. So
I was that kid that was wrestling his stuffed animals and making long-term booking decisions between me and Tigger, the stuffed animal.
Oh yeah. Well, he also got like a little like I don't remember what they're called, but he had his birthday party for his school already because in Arizona they get out of school like mid-May. So they wanted to make sure that he could have his friends at his birthday party. And so somebody got him a wrestling ring, but with those like little mini figures,
Oh,
like
I remember those.
Yeah. And so he's been playing with that because it came with Cena, Roman, Cody, and Seth. So he's been playing with that and
those are fun.
Whatever. But yeah, so I just thought you'd be proud because I got him
I am kind of proud of you. I am kind of proud of you for that.
I put my bias aside.
That's nice.
I was like, if he really wanted to beat somebody up, I could have gotten him Cena because he hates Cena right now. Because of what he did to Cody.
He's ruining wrestling.
Yeah. Yeah. He still heard about it. So, yeah.
Oh, there we go. All right. There we go. Nathaniel says hello, and he's excited for Dodgers, Yankees, and the Cena Cody segment.
Go Dodgers. Go Dodgers.
Go Dodgers.
Go Kike Hernandez. I am obsessed with him. I have been since he was on the Red Sox, but
and Bernard says, "Dad, say less." All right, okay. So confirmed.
All right, cool. Cuckoo. Yeah, because we're gonna do ours on Wednesday.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
On the show on Thursday.
Yeah, so there won't be a problem.
I can't wait to hop back in the ring with the professor.
Yeah, you guys can brawl.
We can be some brawling buddies.
I can make him laugh because apparently I'm good at that. So there's nothing better for like your ego than like making somebody laugh, especially somebody that you don't know that much.
100%.
It's like such an ego stroke. So it like helps. It makes me feel better about myself for about like, as long until the podcast ends. And then I'm like, hey, you know what? People think I'm funny.
You got to keep riding that confidence though. You like when the lights go off, you still need to think that.
I guess.
You can do it. I believe in you.
You don't laugh at me though that much.
See, I'm like tough to make laugh. Like my girlfriend says the same thing about me. So
that's what my mom says. She's like, I don't laugh because I'm just used to you. That's what my mom and my sister say. And I'm like,
I'm not. No, that's not. That's not my reason. No, I'm not gonna give you that. Yeah, I'm not gonna give you that.
I think you're funny too, Nathaniel.
Yeah. All systems are go. Let's go, baby. All systems go for us to hop back in the ring, which is something that we love to do. You know what else I love to do, Sarah? Boom. Segues.
Don't be a lemon. Be a rosebud.
Don't be a lemon, Sarah. Be a rosebud. Be a rosebud. It is time for our lemons and rosebuds of the week. For anyone who's new here, rosebuds are our favorite things that we saw in wrestling. It doesn't matter if it was a show, a match, or even just something on social media that put a smile on our face. Lemons is the complete opposite of that. And Sarah, ladies first, per usual. So tell me, what was your favorite thing you saw in wrestling this week?
I would say it's kind of a passing of the torch in NXT for the women. I know that a lot of people were not thrilled about Stephanie Bakir losing her title, and it feels to me like it wasn't necessarily about her losing the title as much as it was to who she lost the title, and that got me riled up. And I'm not even like a huge JC Jane fan. Like I did kind of like Toxic Attraction. I liked JC. But I really took offense to the things that people were saying about her and about her being the one to take the title off of Stephanie, because I just felt like it was really unfair. And this girl has been busting her butt for, I think people said she's been in NXT for 4 years. Like, this girl has been putting in the work, you know,
she's good.
And Toxic Attraction was disbanded randomly one night, and then JC and Gigi were expected to just like continue as normal or like try and figure it out without Mandy.
Yeah, there was a turn, and then they were gonna feud, and then what's next for JC Jane?
Right.
You put her in Chase U, and it's like, how the hell are you gonna make JC Jane work in Chase U? It ends up being a story that elevates Chase U to not only the niche fans like myself who love them, but actually getting airtime. And I think they did main event an NXT show because of it once or twice, and it led to the tag team and all that. That gets obviously disbanded and whatnot. She goes to whatever you call it,
Fatal Influence.
Fatal Influence. It's too similar.
So,
but Fatal Influence and now killing everyone. Go.
Yeah. So, I posted a TikTok about that, but I think that this was inevitable, as I said in that TikTok, if you guys have seen it. It was inevitable that Stephanie we're going to talk about it, but she'll be coming up to the main roster. We knew that it wasn't going to take very long. Like, when it was announced that Julia, Stephanie, and Jordynne Grace were going to be in NXT, most people were surprised because a lot of people were like, no, they're going to go to the main roster right away because of like who they are. Or now that we know that they're going to NXT, everyone was like, they're not going to be in NXT very long because they're already solidified in the game. So like, they don't need to be in NXT very long. That's exactly what happened. And the way that Stephanie should have gone out is exactly how I think how she did go out. It is like a passing of the torch. So like, okay, now it's JC's turn to see what she can do as the NXT Women's Champion. How can she handle the pressure of being the face of the women's division in NXT? And who will she get to elevate because of that? Like, you saw it when Stephanie was coming out to the ring. They did that on purpose. All of the girls that she walked by.
That's what I mean. And that's one detail that I loved about the whole thing is that it wasn't just Stephanie dropping the title and, oh yeah, she's going to the main roster. It's the Stephanie Kerr show.
Yeah.
It's also realizing that there are hungry women wrestlers that are ready to take that next step and to be put into that situation where they, on TV, whatever. It's the lineage, the different people you saw starting out with just the evolved people, and then Jada.
It's all homegrown, and all
and
homegrown.
Every single one of them was exactly homegrown. But Stephanie wasn't, and that was the telling sign.
So this opens the opportunities for somebody like JC Jane or Lash Legend, whoever. Like, these are girls that are now going to be able to be put into that, into that spot where they're going to have a chance at the NXT Women's title, and people aren't going to be like, wait a second, they're not going to have a chance because it's Stephanie, like this. I think that we often forget that NXT is meant to be developmental, and there are going to be instances where somebody with a name like Stephanie Vaquer are going to come in and they're going to be pushed to the top, but it's because they want to get them acclimated in the WWE system, get people familiar with them so that when they bring them to the main roster, it's not like, who is this? What's going on? I don't know how I feel about her. But they need to give these opportunities to the girls that they are bringing in and starting from scratch. So like, I think it's an interesting time in NXT now for the women, because they did just bring up so many established talent. Now we get to see, okay, who else is down there? Who's going to be the next Tiffany Stratton or the next Roxanne Perez?
Exactly.
That's fun to watch. And I feel like people should be more excited about that. Rather than just like trashing it or expecting the worst.
Yeah, I'm over the people who are trashing JC Jane over that. Like, it's just like, guys, like, she's not my favorite women's wrestler in NXT, but I do enjoy her work with Fatal Influence right now. I mean, I'm just more of a Fallon Henley guy myself.
Well, do you remember when they brought up Toxic Attraction to SmackDown, and it felt like, oh, okay, they're going to be bringing them to the main roster, and then it got shut down because like Mandy was released, and it was like, oh shit, like that, all of this. It's like that was like 2-3 years ago,
and no one was trashing JC Jane.
Yeah,
when she could have
they
been
loved her.
They
loved her.
Her and
now,
Gigi.
yeah, and that's the thing is like people were mistaking what I was saying as if I was like somehow putting JC on the same level as Stephanie. It's like that's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is a person like JC deserves the opportunity to sink or swim at the top. They're going to figure out who she is and what she can be in this moment, and that is she deserves that. Like if she thrives, she thrives. If she sinks, then she sinks. At least that they like gave her that chance and we got to see what she was capable of, as opposed to people being super upset about like Cora Jade being released. And it was like, we didn't get to see what she could really do. Is that what you're saying you want to see with JC? Like she doesn't deserve to figure that out? No, that's not cool. You should be hoping for them, So I don't know. I think it's going to be fun to watch.
It is going to be really fun to watch. I share that rosebud as well. More specifically, my rosebud being that JC Jane won was my favorite aspect of it was that it was the shock value. It was so out of nowhere that you don't see that anymore. You don't have that feeling because of everything being spoiled for you. Even if you tune in like a half hour late or 5 minutes late, you're going to have something spoiled for you. And the shock that was on my face was you don't see it that much, only really for PLEs. And the other shock value was Mike Santana in NXT. More because of the reason of him being someone that I watch in like AEW. And I was like, oh yeah, just another whatever. I didn't really know much about him. And then you watch him, he leaves, goes to TNA. You watch a couple of more of his matches, his promos, whatever. And you realize like, no, he's like he's a major player in the wrestling scene. And I like watching him because it's like, holy shit. Or I like when he came into NXT because it's like, holy shit, anything is possible right now in wrestling. You have a WWE contracted superstar as the TNA World Champion. You have guys like Mike Santana just walking into NXT to face, I forget who he fought, but then he came out and had some words for Trick Willie about taking that title off him. Seems like they are going to be setting those two up to face each other at Slammiversaries, which great, love that idea. So yeah, just the shock value's back. You just because you may or may not subscribe to Fightful or Fightful Select, whatever, and see those spoilers, you still have some shock value left in this. It's nice.
So that brings up an interesting conversation. I feel like I saw a TikTok about it, and I mean, I think that it's not like a unique thing, but just because you're talking about it, it reminded me that it would be nice if we could almost put a button on how many leaks there are in wrestling. Like everything does not need to be spoiled, and I think it's kind of like, people were mentioning it in the case of NXT, for instance, about like, oh, we didn't need to know that Stephanie and Jordan are coming up to the main roster. Like, why can't we just be surprised when they finally debut on Raw and SmackDown? Like, and even as something as small as that, like that kind of stuff, like it would have been cool if we didn't know when Stephanie was going to officially debut, but we do know now, and we'll talk about that. But, or so-and-so is going to return. Like, it would be kind of cool to have that shock value still. But I feel like because of the internet, and now that there is like an even bigger group of people that are like wrestling insiders and journalists, whatever you want to call them, it's like inevitable. We kind of have to embrace the era of having everything spoiled for us, unless you are able to keep yourself off the internet. Because like if you had no social media, then maybe. But even then, like, let's say you're just like, oh, I just want to check the news, like what's going on in WWE. Everything on Google is like rumor, like spoiler. So it's like there's nothing that you can do about it unless you stayed off the internet completely.
You gotta kind of Patrick Star that shit. You gotta live under that rock.
It's like it's an actual effort that you have to put in to like avoid any of it.
I went on date night, the Saturday night's main event, because Saturdays, it's date night, and we went to see Lilo and Stitch. Actually, Sarah, you got to see it.
I know you told me.
Yeah. I know. I told you you got to go see it. And I made it a point to not look at my phone.
Mm-hmm.
And I even let Casey know, like, if I look, like, shoo me away, like, get me off my phone, because I don't want to be spoiled. I still had it spoiled because of two things: Fightful Select, email, because Gmail pops up notification, and podcast notification. Not Sam Wrestling, Sam Roberts. John Cena returns. Like, it's that easy to have shit spoiled when you don't. I didn't even go on my phone. I opened Twitter once and then scrolled right out because I realized what I was doing. And it's someone who, like, job wise, like, I need to be on my phone, like, respond to people quick, whatever. So any sort of vibrate that I feel, I have to, go check, whatever. And to see that spoiled sucked. I wish we could not have that, but that's not the world we live in. So
yeah, unfortunately.
It sucks. Yeah. What else sucks, Sarah? What's your lemon?
Rikishi is flapping those gums again.
He is. He is.
And this is the epitome in my eyes of fickle fans. Because if we're really going to look at Rikishi and the things that he has been saying over the past year or whatever, specifically about Jey Uso, he is fickle as fickle comes, because for months and months he was complaining about how Jey needed to be, in the main event scene. He should be the world champion, blah, 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 right? They finally have him win the Royal Rumble. They make him the world heavyweight champion at WrestleMania. And this mother effer is sitting on his podcast complaining about Jey Uso and his booking. And I'm not saying, he's upset because he's having a tag match at the Money in the Bank, but I'm like, also, like, come on, like, it's not uncommon for the champions to not defend their titles at Money in the Bank because of the Money in the Bank cash-in possibility. It's like, that's kind of why they
SummerSlam's the next one.
Yeah. But, like, it's just kind of, I don't know. It just becomes a joke at this point, because it's like, you were complaining about him not being elevated to where you felt like he should be, and now that he's there, you're still complaining. It's like nothing they do will make you happy. But I don't know. I feel like it's not a great look when it's like you're asking that they just give Jey the world, that everything should be perfect for him. He should be having the best title run ever. He should be getting all the main event spots. He should be doing this and he should be doing that. And it's like, do you feel that way about everybody who's world heavyweight champion?
Exactly.
Because your son shouldn't be treated any differently or more special than like somebody else. Like, I don't know. I think it's another reason why it's hard to take it seriously, because of who it's coming from. It's like your daddy, we get it, but like, can we stop talking about it? Like, how are you complaining when he's world heavyweight champion?
It just feels like he's complaining to complain.
Well, like, he doesn't go to bat like this for Jimmy. He doesn't say shit about Jimmy. So what does that say? You know what I'm saying?
What does that say?
Like, Jimmy is good too. And it's like, I'm not saying that Jimmy should be WWE champion. I'm not saying that. But why is it the focus is always on Jey? Why don't you go to bat for your other kid? Like, because like he should be on TV. Why shouldn't he be like in the US title scene? What are we talking about? Why is it always Jey when Jey has had a far better singles career than Jimmy has? Like, at least if you were complaining about like, oh, I wish Jimmy was getting more opportunities, you could understand that, right? Because like if his and Jay's careers are so contrasted, like they're so different. And it's like, okay, if Rikishi was doing that, you could chop it up to be like, oh, daddy's mad, whatever. But like at the same time, it'd be like, no, I get it. Like, yeah, Jimmy hasn't been doing anything since
like,
they split up the
like
Usos.
if he was complaining about Jimmy, it's like, okay,
yeah,
I get
like
it.
yeah,
You're right.
exactly.
He hasn't been.
Yeah. So it's like, I don't know. It's just kind of funny because, you know, I get it. You're going to defend your kid and you're going to want your kid to, you know, be in the best position possible and whatever. But it's like you're also talking about your kid who no one ever thought was going to be a singles champion. He becomes a singles champion at WrestleMania against a guy who has only lost like 3 times in his entire career. And you're still sitting here complaining not even 2 months later. Like, what? Brother.
It's nonsense, Sarah.
It is
quite nonsense.
It is.
I have a lemon. Okay. But it's also a topic that you put in here.
Oh, okay.
So instead of coming up with a new one, I just really want to talk about it because everything that's going on in the Wrestleverse has been not sunshine and rainbows, but the bad stuff is not worth complaining about. Let's put it that way. This is.
Oh, yeah. This is a joke.
I don't care about this at all. And the fact that we are seeing it right now really irks me. You know, it irks me because of the good and the progress that we're seeing with Triple H running WWE now. And on the flip side of that, the competition, because the competition has created better overall production and performance, not only from WWE, but TNA, indie scene, you know, Japan, all that. And it's trying to bring the past back, you know, type of thing. And with everything going on with the allegations and whatnot, like, dude, just go home. That's really like, I made a TikTok about this the other day.
I saw it, yeah.
And essentially what I'm trying to say with the TikTok and this royal rant right now, just go home, man. Just end it. Like, it's over. All right. Let's in better hands.
Well, let's be real though. This isn't happening.
No shit, but I don't. Yeah, no, I don't even want to hear it. I don't even want to hear the rumors.
I get what you mean, but I'm just saying because there are people. I mean, especially like aggregator accounts that were posting about this as if it's a possibility. Because people are acting like, first of all, that Vince has the money to do it. He doesn't on his own. So there would need to be multiple people involved in the buy process. Secondly, what makes you think TKO will even entertain the idea of selling it not long after they bought it? Like,
or not even that.
But people aren't thinking about it from that. They think Vince just can come in and buy it back. No, he would have to. They would have to want to sell it.
Correct.
You know, and that's not happening. And I think that people are kind of romanticizing it because I think there are people who are not thrilled with things that Triple H has done, and I've been a critic of things and the way that things have been. But I can't say that, you know, I miss the Vince era, like, because I think that Triple H has done that poorly of a job. No, there's certain things that really irritate me and I don't agree with what he's doing, or I'm like, why is this happening? But the idea that there are people who legitimately feel like Vince being back would be better than what we're getting right now, that is the reason why this is even a story. Is because those are people pushing it as if it's a possibility because they want it to be. They want it to be so badly.
Jonathan Coachman was the one who brought it up. And the last time I heard from Coach was when he was interviewed on Insight CVV.
Mm-hmm.
It was a great interview because of a nostalgia, but I'm not putting my wrestling trust in Coach right now. I'm putting it in guys like Fightful.
Well, he's kind of
Cultaholic,
becoming like Stephen A.
What
Smith
culture?
level, where it's like he's just out here like trying to say controversial things on his podcast so that it gets picked up. Like that's kind of what he's becoming in the sphere of wrestling. He's just saying things to get people to talk about it, and that's exactly what's happening. He said an offhand comment that probably didn't have much weight to it, and it's blown up over this past week, which is then bringing everyone back to like, who said it? It's Jonathan Coachman. So now everyone's going to like go check that episode out and be like, oh, maybe I should keep watching. Like, it's exactly what he wanted, because there was probably no truth to it. Not to mention he just launched a company now or whatever. So 14th and 1 or whatever Vince put out, he just launched a company. So
yeah, I'm not even gonna entertain that. I saw the news. I'm not entertaining it. Like,
yeah,
it's
not happening. It's just not happening.
It's not happening. I did want to get that out of the way because that was my lemon, and it really has been irking me all week. Even the stuff that's going on that I'm not particularly a fan of, it doesn't hit a chord like that when I read it. You know, it's just when you watch wrestling now, you have such a different feeling watching it than you did in the past. Yeah, it might be predictable with certain elements because of spoilers and social media in general, but the product is good. The quality is good to the point where you don't even care. You know, like, what's going to happen, but you don't know what's really going to happen after it happens. So, you know, it's exciting. It's finally exciting to watch now, where before, I mean, for God's sakes, Raw's main event with Vince running it was, or one of the events was, Austin Theory and Bobby Lashley in a pose off.
Yeah,
you know, like,
exactly.
I don't care.
That's why I'm saying people are just romanticizing it, and I think it's kind of like the people who I mean, we say it sometimes. It's like when people try and make it seem like the Attitude Era was like really, really, really good, and it's like if you actually go back and watch it, it really wasn't. It was just that they were doing like controversial things, or like, you know, like to get you interested. But as far as like the wrestling wasn't stellar, the storylines were not stellar, not everything, I mean, like consistently. And so it's like, again, you're just kind of romanticizing the past, and it's mostly because of nostalgia or something that's comforting to you. So I think that's kind of what people are doing. And I think there's just trolls, because a lot of the people that are even saying they want Vince back have like a profile picture of some random wrestler, and they probably weren't even alive very long during the Vince era. So like, I don't know that we should be taking them seriously.
No, you can't talk about bringing back the Vince era if you didn't sit through 2009 to 2019, really 2021, really, because even like there were so many ups and downs, because there was just a few ups.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah,
like when you really think about it, the best parts of those years were NXT, Black and Gold. You have,
I mean,
certain superstars going to the next level, like Becky Lynch, Roman, whatever, Kofi Mania, those things. But like in the grand scheme of things, it was not all sunshines and rainbows. Where now it's a majority of sunshine and rainbows, but not all the time. So yeah, get that out. So we're already hopping around the Wrestleverse. Let's see if we have any. I think 2022, whenever they started allowing fans back into arenas, like I was at the SmackDown where Vince announced his retirement that day.
Well, and Vince was still in charge when Cody returned. So
yeah, 38.
Yeah, so that was 2022. Yeah. I don't think it wasn't until like I think the beginning of 2023 when Triple H officially took over, but Vince still wasn't gone yet. It wasn't until like it was like the summer of 2023, I think, is when he finally stepped down. So it's like barely been, it's been like maybe 2 years since Triple H has had full control. Because when they said that Vince was stepping away, he didn't really. So I wouldn't even count like that, those 6 months or whatever it was, as like Triple H really running it. So yeah, but he was around for a while.
Was around for a while.
Still so weird. I remember it just reminds me of I was gonna like talk about when I met Vince, and then it was like the next day.
That was
the stuff was all talked about. I was like, oh my God, I was gonna post a photo with him from like 2012 or 2012. And then it was like all this shit came out, and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, was that our first episode of the pod or second when we were just doing the podcast?
I honestly
we weren't doing video yet. And we just recorded, and you told that story, and you were like, yeah, to share the show, I'm going to post this. It's like, oh, maybe not.
I met Vince at the hotel. That sounds so weird. I'm sorry. Okay. So
yeah,
that sounds weird. Yeah, that's not what I meant. So no, so we went to a show. I think it was like after SummerSlam. I think it was the Raw after SummerSlam. So it was when SummerSlam was in LA. And then I think that they were doing a show like in, I don't know if it was, in Bakersfield. I don't remember. It was like somewhere near wherever we were. And my friend booked the hotel. And then when we got there, we found out that was the talent hotel. So we were like, oh my God, because there are people who will do that on purpose, because it can be often easy to figure out where the wrestlers are staying, or at least where they used to.
Mm-hmm.
And we did not do that. It was like, this is just like a cheap hotel that's like right next to the arena. Like, this is going to work. So yeah, we went downstairs just to watch wrestlers come in. Like I think we only bothered Johnny Curtis, who is Fandango, and Derek Bateman, who is now EC3. Like, those are the only two that we bothered. And then when we knew that Vince was coming in, we were like, okay, we need to try to meet Vince, simply because, like, when are you going to ever have that opportunity? So like, he was just coming in to go up to his hotel room with his gym trainer was with him. So that was it. Like, he just like took pictures with us, and like thanked us for going to the show or whatever. So that was it. But yeah.
Hello, Vision.
Hello.
What's up? Okay. Oh, that video. Anyways, so we're around the Wrestleverse. Start off with this.
Oh yeah.
Should Money in the Bank go back to being on WrestleMania? Reports this week. Actually, yeah, Sarah, why don't you introduce us?
Oh, okay. So there are rumblings that Triple H is not a huge fan of Money in the Bank, which doesn't surprise me, because, I mean, basically since he took over, it's been said that he wasn't a huge fan of the PLEs that were named after a concept of a match, like Elimination Chamber and that kind of stuff. So it doesn't really surprise me that he might not be huge on Money in the Bank. And honestly, I think this is a great idea. I do think they should bring it back to WrestleMania, because when we're talking about Money in the Bank, again, it's just like any other stipulation match that is the name of a PLE. It means like 2 matches, basically, that involve whatever that concept is. So this is the same thing. We have a men's Money in the Bank and a women's Money in the Bank. That's 2 matches on an entire pay-per-view named after that concept. So, but for me, because we were talking about how, like, especially this year, when we were talking about WrestleMania, it felt like they were trying to put together these like random matches, because it's like, oh, you can't not have, so-and-so on WrestleMania. So like, let's put them in this random match. It would be so much easier to get talent on the card if you had 5 or 6 people in Money in the Bank matches. Like, if you put them on WrestleMania, first of all, you could have 1 Money in the Bank on Saturday, 1 Money in the Bank on Sunday. That also allows you to get 5 women and 5 men, or you could do 6, because sometimes it's 6 in those matches. It's easy to get them on the card because they're in that match. That means 5 or 6 people are in a match, and it's a ladder match for Money in the Bank. And what better crowd to do that in front of than WrestleMania? Like, people love the TLC matches, the cage matches, whatever. Like, they love to see a ladder match. So this is a great way, in my eyes, to get as many people as you want featured on WrestleMania that still feels like they're doing something important. I mean, at this point, it would be, going for a Money in the Bank contract, but it doesn't have that same feeling of like, oh, we're just going to do the Andre the Giant battle memorial.
No, yeah, I agree. It
like,
is different. It is way different.
But this would allow them to get all of those people that they were like, we really want to have these people on the card, but like, instead of doing, like a couple years ago, whatever, when they did the like 4 women's tag teams against each other, and it was
I forget what it
men's,
was called.
and they did it with the men too, and the men killed it. But it's like, how much cooler would that have been if it was like a Money in the Bank match instead? Like, I don't know. I feel like it would make it feel more important again. And then also it's like easy to remember, like, oh, they have until next year's WrestleMania to cash in. Whereas right now, Money in the Bank keeps flip-flopping. Like, it's in July, then it's in June, then it's like it messes
It's in
up.
August in a few.
Yeah, like next year or whatever.
Next year, it is.
Yeah, so it's like it would be easier if they could just do it at Mania. At least in my opinion, I like it.
I like Money in the Bank at WrestleMania. Obviously, I view it from the business standpoint, the marketing, all that, whatever. But the match itself, it's big. It's the opportunity for an up and comer to get that shot on the biggest stage. Like, it adds a little bit more lore to it than if you dedicate a pay-per-view to it, because you have to think of the entire card. Like, look at like this Money in the Bank show in 2 weeks. There's no championship match on it. It's a tag team match with both champions and 2 Money in the Bank matches. So, and the show overall, you could add this same card. I mean, this main event feels like a Saturday night's main event type of main event, honestly.
And they could just rebrand a pay-per-view, or someone in the chat was saying officially bring back King and Queen of the Ring. Like, do that again. Like, that is stuff
that's
that people
different. That needs a tone.
No, that's stuff that people are like interested in too. It's like, or if Triple H really wants to like put his stamp on something, like create your own PLE. Like, people will get behind it, and people won't forget about Money in the Bank if it's back at on Mania, because the thing is that's where it started. So
no one's gonna forget Money in the Bank.
Yeah,
Money in the Bank has became a pop culture reference with memes and stuff. Have you seen the Bernie Sanders meme of him running with the money? Like, it's pop culture, so that's not going to go away. But but the pay-per-view itself, or PLE itself, it can go away, because at the end of the day, there's a solution to it. You can do it on WrestleMania.
Well, yeah, because the only matches that matter on Money in the Bank really are the 2 Money in the Bank matches.
Exactly.
And again, now that they have a women's winner, because that hasn't always been the case, there you go. 1 match for Sunday, 1 match for Saturday, or Saturday and Sunday, like 1 match each. So, or, on each night of Mania. Like, it makes sense. Or if you want to keep it in the summer, put it on SummerSlam. Like, I don't know. I don't see it a wrong. I don't see it as a bad idea to like do something different with the Money in the Bank PLE, because I feel like the Money in the Bank PLE is like kind of a forgotten one anyway, besides the Money in the Bank matches. Like, no one really cares. It's like a filler between Mania and SummerSlam. That's kind of what it feels like.
That is. Yeah. It does feel like that. All right. SmackDown will remain 3 hours for the foreseeable future. The rumblings about it. Obviously, people are talking about it with how the quality of it has gone down since they've gone to 3 hours. I see that changing, though. I see every week it gets a little better, baby steps towards it. And with the call-ups and whatnot that are rumored to happen, it seems like 3 hours is the correct move.
I think the 3 hours isn't a problem. Okay, so first of all, the rumor is that it's staying, and the big reason why is that USA wants it to stay at 3 hours, which it's because they got rid of the 3-hour Raw. So that's why SmackDown was changed to 3 hours, because they were like, all right, well, if you're not going to sign with us, then if we're going to get SmackDown, we want to replace that with a 3-hour wrestling show. So that's why they have SmackDown for 3 hours. I don't think the 3-hour SmackDowns are a bad idea. It's just they're not giving us a good 3-hour program consistently. And it's like, it's on them. It's not like because they don't have the talent on SmackDown. It's that they're not doing enough to get us to want to watch SmackDown every week. Like, I legitimately think I've watched SmackDown like on a Friday, like maybe one time since it's moved to 3 hours. Otherwise, I watch it on Saturday or whatever. Like, and I already know everything that happened because obviously
you're West Coast. I understand your pain now.
Yeah, because it's not live, so I can't watch it. So like, but the thing is like, even if I was like excited and I already knew things that were spoiled, I would watch it on Friday. But like, it hasn't been good enough for me to want to watch it on Friday. And it's like, we're all super interested, or at least from what I've gathered looking online, people are very interested in the SmackDown tag division. So like, that is something that easily, where's Pretty Deadly though? That's what I want. They're not. They've not been around.
They are. No, they were they had a match in the backstage segment. They've been around.
Yeah, like what, a month ago? It's been a while. But then, you know, their women's division is only getting stronger because Bianca will be coming back, so that's going to reignite whatever they're going to try to get her involved in. They're trying to build up the women's mid-card scene. Like, people love Chelsea Green. Like, they can do more with that. You know, like, they have the top male talent. I mean, Cody's back. Like, Drew McIntyre's on SmackDown. Cena is the champion on SmackDown. Like, when you look at everything that they have to work with, there's no reason for them to be giving us a boring or like lackluster show every week. Like, the 3 hours cannot be the reason to blame anymore in my eyes, because like, that's not an excuse.
No, we've seen what you can do with 3 hours of programming. Why can't you do it for SmackDown?
They just don't want to. Or that's the thing.
I don't think they know how with that roster.
But the thing is that because knowing what they have, like you're making that point of their roster, it's like, okay, if you're not able to deliver or whatever, look at your writer's room. Is that the problem? Is it the creatives problem? Because it's like, you know, they had it for a long time. Like, their women's division was way better than Raw's. But people were much more invested in the Raw women's division than they were on SmackDown, even though it didn't hold a candle to SmackDown's. And it's like, it's only getting better now because they've just brought up more talent. You know, they added Julia, they're bringing up Jordan, whatever. Bianca's coming back, Charlotte's back, but they're still not giving us that. So it's like, should you maybe, like, I don't know, adjust the writers? Should you bring people who do Raw? Maybe they should be doing SmackDown too. Like, what is that the issue? Because 3 hours gives you enough time to feature a lot of people and do a lot of interesting stuff, and you're not doing it. So
it is like, yeah, they need to do more with it for sure. Yeah. They need to up it, which they will. There's a lot of stuff going on like this.
There's so many comments.
It's great to see. That's not. Hold on. Oh, where'd you go? I need to.
What?
There we. There was a C in there.
Oh.
Gonna get better with moves like this. Stephanie Vacour and Jordan Grace going to the main roster. Stephanie Vacour has been announced officially by Adam Pearce as the newest member of the Raw roster, and she'll be competing in a triple threat Money in the Bank qualifier this Monday against Ivy Nile and Liv Morgan.
And she'll be winning, obviously. Obviously.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see Liv in the Bank. I do not.
No, she's still tag team champion, so. Yeah, I think this was obvious. We literally just talked about this like a week or two ago, where I was like, Stephanie is Raw, like she's got to go to Raw. So
the look, everything.
Yeah. Jordan going to SmackDown, I like that because there's also, she can go with Charlotte, she could go with Jade or Bianca or Naomi. Like, I'm interested in that. Stephanie going to Raw, I think, is killer because there's a lot of opportunity there. I just think that we're getting close to the point of being able to say that WWE's women's division is going to be like among the best in professional wrestling. Like, we're getting to that point where, you want to watch the women sometimes more than you want to watch the men. And that's exciting because that wasn't always the case. I mean, I was super actively going to shows during the time where people were calling the women's matches bathroom break time, So the fact that we're now in a time that people want to see them in the main event, they have better matches consistently than the men, especially when we're talking about like Money in the Bank over the last several years. It's been the women who killed it. And it's only going to get better because of people like Stephanie and Jordan, which is really exciting.
It is really exciting. And one thing I had here was like, these girls are going to enhance the division.
Okay? I forgot about that. Stephanie's working Worlds Collide, so she might not win. Actually,
right. Yeah, she's facing the two women luchadors.
So she probably isn't working it.
So Liv might win.
I would assume it's Liv. Nothing against Ivy Nile, but it feels like it would be. I mean, especially
Roxanne's got to help out.
Yeah,
Roxanne's got to prove her weight. She got to pull her weight. JD did.
What if Dom tries to help, or Dom helps Roxanne win?
Oh, the money. So you have both of them. Oh, yeah.
Well, because Roxanne's already in. Roxanne's already in.
No, yeah. I know what you mean. I'm saying, like, yes. Yeah. Agreed. You have to play into that with Liv, Roxanne, and then Dom. Like, who does he choose? Dom got himself into another sticky situation. Like, oh, it's awesome. It's great.
Yeah.
Oh my God. All right. What else do we have? I'm trying to get through all the WWE stuff so we can go in some.
Well, why not just split? Just do an AEW one. We don't have to do all WWE.
No,
like in a row.
Oh, all right.
I was trying to put them like scattered so that
we could
go back and forth.
All right. Well, this one, is Deonna Purrazzo unhappy with AEW? This stems from a recent tweet. A user, a wrestling fan, tweeted at her if they're going to see her on Dynamite tonight, and she responded by saying most likely in picture, referring to her ad that she's in for Southern New Hampshire, because it's like she's in the commercial. She went to school there. She does on the road, all that, and so she is making comments like that, not being highlighted on AEW programming. She actually has a match in Ring of Honor now. She's not on Collision. So what's going on with her? I don't like it because she is such a talented wrestler. She put on bangers in TNA with Jordan Grace, Chelsea Green, Mia Yim, all those girls. So
do we think she can make her way back to WWE now?
I would like to see. I think that would be someone that you could throw into any sort of, I'll say division for an easy word, of whether it's the title picture, the Intercontinental or United States, the tag team, because what she was doing with Taya Valkyrie, it was good. It did have legs, just it didn't have time. So I could see something, or even just a blood feud or grudge feud type of thing. You put her in any situation, she's going to knock it out of the park. It just sucks that we're not seeing that on AEW. There is an opportunity for that to happen. It just doesn't seem like it's going to.
Yeah. So I don't know what she'll do. Obviously, she has a lot of friends in WWE.
Chelsea Green is her best friend. So.
Yeah. And she never really got a shot on the main roster. Like, she didn't really get to do a whole lot in NXT, but I feel like if she were to come back, like, that would be totally different this time. But I also don't blame her for maybe being hesitant because, like, she thought things were going to go one way the first time and it didn't. So she might continue what she's doing, but maybe she'll kind of do what Matt Cardona does, where it's like he just goes wherever he wants and does what he wants, and that's becoming a thing You know, like people are making a good living off of doing that now, and they're enjoying it a lot more than being tied to one company. So it's possible that maybe she'll end up doing that, which I mean, good for her if that's what she wants to do, obviously.
Maybe make her way back to TNA with her husband, Steve Macklin, who
Mm-hmm.
fought Matt Cardona the other night.
Well, did she leave TNA to go to AEW?
Yeah.
Okay, see,
If
like
she goes to WWE, she's still kind of low-key back in TNA too.
Yeah, which is like, and that's a thing. Maybe she does go back to TNA, and then they do the experiment with her in NXT to see like, okay, how does this work and whatever. Like, I think there's a lot of opportunities now, and WWE isn't viewed in the same light that it used to be, simply because of like what they're doing, especially like we were just talking about the women's division. Like Deonna Purrazzo is not a Vince McMahon girl, but she can totally be a Triple H girl or a Shawn Michaels girl. You know what I mean? And like they're bringing in so many women that are not built the way that the women have historically been in WWE. They're strong and they're hard hitters. And yeah,
she's
it's
a
like
technician. She's got like, I listened to the interview with her and Chris. I don't want to cut you off totally, but building off your point, I was listening to the interview with her and on Chris Van Fleet, and she mentioned that everything that she does in the match that builds up to her finishing move has to do with the arm. It's a Fujimari. I'm gonna butcher that, but arm bar. It's an arm bar. Okay, and she locks it in and works it like she's got an intelligent wrestling mind.
She's another one that I knew of on wrestling Twitter before she started training wrestling.
No way, really?
Yeah. So I think that like this is the era where I think that she fits in the best, you know, if she were to come to WWE. But like I said, we've seen this situation before where it looks like this is the time where so-and-so can come to WWE and then it just doesn't work. So it's like, I would hate for that to happen if like she thought that this was her time. She comes in and it just doesn't become anything. Like that just feels like another reason to be unhappy. And like, obviously I don't wish that for anybody. So
no, I don't at all. I agree. I'm gonna piss my pants right now, Sarah. I hate to break it.
Okay.
So you get some comments. Let's get some comments for Sarah.
Okay.
Guys, let's get some comments for Sarah. Keep it I'm gonna be like 5 seconds.
Okay. The bad guy says the women are carrying WWE. I think there's a fair argument to be made there. I don't know that I 100% agree. However, I do think, you know, when we're talking about even the last couple of months, some of the best matches that you could say for 2025 were the women. I mean, they're still talking about the women's match, Io, Bianca, and Rhea as a match of the year candidate. And, you know, we're only almost in June. So I think that is exciting. And with Money in the Bank right around the corner too, over the past few years, the women have outdone the men by a mile. Same thing with like the Survivor Series, like War Games. They always are putting on a better match than the men. So I think that's, for some reason, that's their chance, their opportunity to shine like the most. Which, you know, it kind of just goes to show you that they probably should have allowed the women to have those matches a long time ago instead of waiting until they did to let it happen. So let's see. Walrad says the women's division feels like AEW in terms of a locker room division. The same people work with the same people. Give me more Charlotte Flair. Okay, so we have a Charlotte Flair fan in the house. I respect her. Don't love her, but I think that they're getting to a point where they're going to have a bunch of women that are just really, really good, and you're going to want to see them in the same way that like you want to see Charlotte. So especially now that they're going to have Julia and Jordan Grace on SmackDown, like you're gonna have a lot of banger matches coming up.
So that was interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll answer. All right. Okay, get rid of that. You know what? Let's talk about this though, because this has been the breaking story of the day. Mariah May has been taken off the AEW roster page. When that happens, usually it's expected that obviously that wrestler, man or woman, does not work there anymore. And with all the rumors going around that Mariah May is basically WWE bound, it's basically confirmed. with that today. So Mariah May could be making her way to Orlando, the main roster, very soon.
Yeah.
I say Orlando.
This felt inevitable no matter what, because she's another one who grew up watching WWE. Her favorite wrestler of all time is Triple H. Like, she was watching during the pandemic era. You know, like, this is a girl who, again, I knew about her before she got into wrestling. So it's like, it's just crazy to see like how far she's come, because just as someone watching from far away, obviously. But when we were talking about this before we went live, although it felt like this was going to be what was going to happen with her no matter what, I do think that she needed to go to AEW first, because like I said, the way that I think that she would have been perceived by WWE fans coming straight out of Japan would have been that she's just like a Barbie, you know, she's just a girly, prissy Barbie wrestler. Like, they wouldn't have really taken her seriously. They would have immediately just been saying, you know, she's just like a Tiffany Stratton, like whatever, maybe even Divas era type of girl, just because she has that look to her. So I think going to AEW, first of all, starting out as like a baby face and then eventually turning into a mega heel, and then getting into, I mean, bloodbath matches, that really earned her like a new set of fans that might not have been a fan of her otherwise, because it's like they want to see more of the aggressive, hard hitting type of women or whatever. And she's just not, she didn't look like that. But now, you know, this chick can hang. And so I think that she needed to like differentiate herself in that way before coming to WWE. And that's probably why she's coming to WWE. Her work with Toni Storm is why WWE wanted her. If she didn't have that on her resume and she was just kind of doing whatever, I don't think WWE would be like pursuing her. And I mean that in a respectful way. It's just that she wouldn't have stood out in any way, you know?
You're not wrong with what you said. Yeah, that her work with Toni Storm absolutely got her noticed by WWE. Her year-long feud with Toni Storm, in my opinion, was the best women's feud over the past year.
And that's a long time to carry a feud to keep people interested too.
Like, long time. And it wasn't just the matches, it was everything that went
the stories
into it.
Yeah,
It felt a little bit bigger than AEW. That's why Mariah May is going to be so successful in WWE, because she is doing stuff that doesn't feel like AEW for a good reason. You know, she's the cinematic stuff, the character work. You know, you have to be a good in-ring worker. But the character work is incredible. Not only that, but the matches told a story too. Like little stuff within the matches, the roll up Mariah May winning in her home country at All In. And then you have Toni Storm rolling her up to get back the title. And then the Hollywood ending. I mean, God, that match was just absolutely incredible. And bloody. Like, that was the remnants of like Anarchy in the Arena type of thing. And it's that type of work that gets you noticed but you noticed by WWE. So I am very excited to see her. And I expect her to be in NXT first. We've seen how that's gone already with Jordan Grace and Stephanie Becker and Julia. It's okay, guys. It's okay if she goes to NXT first. So,
well, I mean, this is the time to do it because they just brought all those girls up, you know? So like, and she's not necessarily somebody that needs the extra time, but again, they like to do that with these girls, like that they want to introduce to the WWE audience and get them a foundation of fans before they go to the main roster. Like, it's a lot easier for them, unless you are like a mega star like Jade, you know, where they didn't put her in NXT, but I mean, they were like
different. No,
they were putting her everywhere. I mean, she had appearances in NXT, she was doing this and that. So yeah, I don't know. I'm intrigued to see what they do with her, and I'm excited because I feel like, again, she's just another great addition to the women's locker room, and like, I don't know, just excited to see what she can do, especially against the talent that they have in WWE. Like, we have not seen her, because she's not somebody who's like been around and just never went to WWE. It's like she's still like 25, 26 years old. Like, she's not very old and doesn't have a lot of experience like in America, like on the indies or in companies. So it's not like she's been in TNA and like, oh, she's maybe wrestled Naomi and so and so, whatever. No, she has not wrestled like anyone in WWE. So that's exciting too, you know, because those are matchups that we've never seen before, which is not common really much.
No, it's not. Yeah, and her experience over in Japan will really help her in WWE. The stardom stuff. The Japan works a very different style than WWE, and I've friends that go over there, and they tell me that it is different. So. I'm so excited. I could just say it over and over. I'm so excited to see Mariah May. I don't know when she's gonna debut. I mean, for God's sakes, how long did we talk about Ricky Saints going to be debuting in WWE, and then out of nowhere, just on a random NXT? You know?
Yeah, but see, that's the thing that makes it fun. Is like, that's one of the very few moments in recent memory where we actually like were genuinely surprised. I mean, it got spoiled for me because I can't watch NXT live.
Oh, that's like, see, I'm not gonna count that as a spoil. Yeah.
But no one knew, because like he didn't get music. They didn't even mention his name. Like, it was just it was like, oh, he was gone and he showed up.
Sara, very very similarity with Scott Hall in his. He just appeared.
Yeah.
During a match. At least Ricky Saints didn't interrupt a match. Scott Hall just said F it. You know?
Yeah, he was just like, you people.
You're wrestling?
Know who I am. Yeah.
You're wrestling? Give me the mic. It's like, my ring.
Get these fuckers out of the ring. No one's watching anyway. Who cares? Me.
You know who I am.
Yeah.
But you don't know why I'm here. I might start saying that when I go into sales calls.
Or just like walk into a room. You people, you know who I am.
You know who I am, but you don't know why I'm here. I like that.
That's also like kind of scary. You know, like just out of context, it's like, but you don't know why you're here. I'm like, why are you here?
Why are you here? I want to know. A few things to wrap up with. I just want to just mention this, that throw this out there to the peeps. Is Hangman Page the hero that AEW needs to dethrone the Death Riders? I am on the Will Ospreay train. Will Ospreay is the face, if not the future face, of AEW. But Hangman Page, I was listening to The Extreme Life of Matt Hardy today with good friend John Alba. And Alba was talking about how Hangman has been the main character of AEW since its inception. You know, he's always been that guy, the story, him, all that. And I was listening to him, and I'm thinking about the match at Double or Nothing, because I was so all in on Will Ospreay winning. I didn't really think about Hangman's story, because Hangman's story right now has been really up and down. Like he mentioned, like he's been going through this depression since he's lost the title, and he feels like he isn't himself, and that's why he did what he did to Swerve, and retiring his mentor and Christopher Daniels. You see some human emotion there, some regret. So I think that there is a way that he can be the guy to do it, but I don't know. Like I want to know your thoughts about Hangman Page, just outside perspective, because I wasn't the biggest Hangman Page fan, but I've grown to love him through the different stories that he's been in. When he was feuding a little bit with the Young Bucks, and then he gets back with the Young Bucks. He was doing his thing for the title, feuding with MJF. The whole Swerve Strickland rivalry really did it for me. I am a much bigger Hangman Page fan than I thought I was. And I'm kind of okay. I don't know if I'm okay with him dethroning Jon Moxley. I really don't want him to. I think that the Mox Death Riders storyline still needs to go for a little bit because they are that force, and we need someone like a Darby Allin, Will Ospreay to take that. Hangman is a good person to face Mox at All In, though, so I'm all in with that.
Yeah, I think it depends on like what they're trying to do with the Death Riders. Like if they feel like it's run its course, then sure, But I do think that even if it doesn't happen now, and let's say that like they want to keep the title on Mox for 6 more months, I don't think that Hangman is a bad idea because it feels like he's a guy that just like everybody is a fan of, no matter who they're normally a fan of.
You just love him in pitch.
Yeah, I think that's a unique quality in a wrestler where like you can just be universally liked, even if like this guy's favorite wrestler is this guy's big, like he hates him. It's like, yeah, but they have the Hangman Page thing in common. Like that is unique with wrestlers because there isn't a lot of people that can get that type of feeling out of people. And because he has had like I would say the last year or two have been like pretty monumental for him. It feels like making him be that guy to take the title off Mox is like the ultimate way to reward him for all of the stuff that he's been doing, I mean, he was even emotional after beating Ospreay because they had him go to the presser like right away, and that's something that I like to see personally because like there are so many people that get into wrestling now, and I'm not hating on them at all, but there is that part of you that misses seeing people who grew up a wrestling fan and were like genuinely passionate about the business and wanting to be a wrestler. And so when you see that kind of emotion out of somebody, it kind of reminds you of like, oh wait, no, like this is a dream come true for them that's gone beyond the last 3 years when they started wrestling, So like, I like seeing that out of him, and I feel like he can be like a good counter to what Mox is trying to do. Like he could be that hero that you didn't really think could be a hero because he's not always been that guy over the past 2 years. And I think that adds like a really interesting dynamic to him being that dude,
It does. It does. When you have thousands upon thousands of screaming wrestling fans chanting cowboy shit at you, it's just electric. And he's a dude. Like he's just the common dude.
He's that's
very relatable.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's what makes him like universally liked. Like I said, like that's not easy to do. It's like a Stone Cold Steve Austin is somebody that like it doesn't matter what he's doing, like people love him. Even with the Rock, like at his prime, like we're talking early 2000s, like everybody loved the Rock. It did not matter what he was doing, who he was against, like it's like, but that's the thing. Like, and I'm not saying that Hangman is a Stone Cold Steve Austin or the Rock, but it is a very unique thing.
There's similarities. Yeah,
it's a unique thing that like you don't see often in wrestling anymore. I mean, we're just talking about like Charlotte was loved, and now all of a sudden like she's getting Dom level heat. She can't even be heard on the mic. Like this is somebody who's been around for a really long time and has accomplished a lot, but she doesn't even have the entire audience in the palm of her hand. But Hangman looks like he does, and it was organic. It was like he didn't do anything special. It was he did his job. He did it well. He entertained people, and they respect him for it, and they want to see him. So I definitely think that there is a good chance that he could be that guy. Like I said, maybe not now, but it just all depends on what they're trying to do with the Death Riders, because I feel like that's going to dictate everything. Mox is not going to lose that until they want to like disband that group, because it's just like what happened with the Judgment Day. Like you can't take the titles off of Rhea and Damian and the tag titles off of Finn and JD until you are like, wait a second, okay, we're gonna disband this group. Exactly. Because otherwise they lose credibility. Or why do you fear them?
Yeah, exactly. It's you can't kill the Death Riders yet. They're too good. I just wish other people would see it, that they're not ready to be dethroned yet.
Yeah.
Maybe Hangman Page. Like I don't want him to do it. I really.
That's why I said maybe in a few months. Like maybe there's a way that they can have him lose, or maybe he doesn't lose fairly, and then that's a way that they can revisit it in a couple months or something. That's why I'm like, there is a chance, but it also, I don't think it would be necessarily a bad idea to do it right now just because of the hype that he's getting. So it feels like it might be a missed opportunity. But again, it depends on what they're trying to do with the Death Riders. And obviously you would assume that they take precedence over Hangman Page because of who's in that group and the fact that it's Moxley. So
like we're just starting to see Marina Shafir get in the ring, and she's not half bad. Like she's very good in the ring. She's finally in a good role. So yeah, like that. And to wrap it off with the shit around the Wrestleverse, Karrion Kross put out a social media video the other day, setting the record straight about Logan Paul, about why he, about the comments that he made. And Sarah, he's not wrong.
He's not wrong.
He's not wrong.
He's not saying anything that fans aren't saying. You know what I mean? The people, I mean, we just talked about Logan Paul last week, and we were saying, you can respect the work that he has done in wrestling and, the natural ability that he has. However, there is an argument to be made that this dude has done nothing to get the matches that he's had. How many championship matches has he had? How many WrestleMania matches has he been in? Now he's getting a tag match with John Cena against Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso. Like, how many dudes in the back are sitting there being like, are you kidding me? Like, I've been in the company for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, and it's an absolute dream for me to have one WrestleMania match that isn't a multi-man match, one match with like a legend like John Cena or Cody Rhodes, like one title shot, and it's like Logan is able to just rely on his name and the fact that he does have the natural ability, and that they're rewarding him for that. So like Karrion being like, no, there are people like us that we were brought up in the professional wrestling system, and he's not wrong where he's saying we were told you cannot have a personal brand outside of the company because you are Karrion Kross. Exactly. You are not Kevin, whatever his last name is. Like, we're not allowed to know your real name. You're not allowed to do anything. You can't even profit off of your name outside of the company. And so I don't blame him for saying what he said, or even though he said he didn't feel this way, I wouldn't blame them for having some sort of resentment about it, because at this point in Karrion's career, he can't just like go out there and then now trying to start a brand. Like, he is, but it's like a lot more difficult than if he had done it like 10, 15 years ago.
Oh, 100%.
So but people need to stop pitting people against each other. Logan is just being annoying. And this is the thing. It's the ignorance of him not understanding the business. And just walking into it and then being handed opportunities. He doesn't understand what it takes to go to wrestling school, work the indies, like work hard to ever get into WWE, because that doesn't just get handed to people. Like he's just been handed things so often that he doesn't understand the grind that it takes to get put into that position. So he takes it for granted, and then he says stupid shit. And then it's like Karrion has to come out and be like, no, I never said I hated you. It's just like, what you represent basically is what we don't like. And I don't know why you could say that what he's saying is uncalled for or wrong. It's not wrong.
No, it's not wrong, Sarah. It really isn't. I agree with that. And I'm glad he set the record straight.
Yeah.
It's time to hit the 1, 2, 3 count, Sarah. Starting off with new segment, one word. Start at one word. Start with Trick Williams as TNA champion. Makes me feel blank.
I think the first word that comes to mind is intrigued, because I want to see how they go about the partnership now, because I want to see Trick on TNA TV. I want to see how who he feuds with. I want to see how long they keep him as TNA champion. I would assume he needs to at least like defend it a couple times successfully for us to be like, okay, I also am curious to see who he ends up losing it to. Like, I think there's a lot of things to look forward to, even if you're not the biggest Trick Williams fan or you don't care about TNA. Like, this is interesting because we have not seen this yet.
We've never seen this. This is historic for a WWE superstar to be the champion, active champion, keep in mind, active champion of another wrestling promotion. This is not the first time that a superstar who is not under TNA contract or a TNA freelance contract, whatever, that has held the TNA World Championship. Kenny Omega and Christian Cage both did while they were under contract with AEW. Trick Williams is the first WWE superstar too. So it's awesome. It's great to see. I would say my word is I'm trying to think of a better word than excited. I had it here. Oh, thrilled. Mm-hmm. Thrilled is easily the best one for it because it's progress. It's something. I mean, they said historic, but it's new. It's fresh.
It was unexpected, I think, too.
Unexpected for sure. I did not think that Trick Williams was going to be the first superstar out of this partnership to win the other company's title.
Mm-hmm.
And the way they're going with it, not just throwing Joe Hendry right away back into the picture and saying, I demand my rematch for the honor of TNA. No, it's Mike Santana, who bleeds TNA. Going up against it and building that match for Slammiversary, which is in Mike Santana's backyard. I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled about this. I hope it opens more doors for more possibilities for WWE superstars. So I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. 2, Metro Boomin is making noise in WWE. Triple H is working on having Metro Boomin.
I don't know if he's working. Metro Boomin just said that he's interested in doing it. There has been nothing said about Triple H or whatever, like allowing it.
Okay, so rumored.
He wants to. He put it out there that that's a dream. So it's like
that is right. So
even Bronson Reed, did you see his tweet?
No, I didn't.
He just wrote please and then tagged Metro, and it was like we get it, brother. Like, say no more.
No one wants that forever anymore. Who is someone's theme song you want him to help change?
Ooh. The latest one that I think is terrible is Fraxium.
Awful, right?
Awful. DIYs is better now.
No, way better. No, it's that fits better. DIY. That fits DIY.
Yeah, that one's better. I don't enjoy New Day.
That was what I was gonna say. I do not like New Day's new entrance.
Yeah, I don't
maybe the slow down or entrance song. Maybe the slow down New Day's okay, I get what they're doing, but I would rather something a little bit more Metro Boomin.
Zelina Vega. She needs a new one.
It sounds so generic. It sounds like the SmackDown theme song.
It does, but it's also like super low volume. So like you barely can hear it.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm in the minority here. I don't love Tiffany's. The whole like I want to see you drive. Like what?
I want to see you drive.
Like what are we talking about? No, I don't like that. I like her old one better. The one that she had in NXT where she was like singing it and whatever. It just fit. I'm trying to think like some of the ones that were really bad, they reverted to their previous ones like AJ Styles and whatever. I'm trying to think of who else is like really bad. Because I think some of them have gotten better. I don't know.
I'm a grown ass woman.
I mean, yeah, whatever. Yeah, and guess who loves it?
Who?
Who's her boyfriend?
Oh my god, it's fucking what's his face? No, not Drake Maverick. What? We saw him all the whole time at WWE World. Not Shiloh Hill, is it? No, it's not Shiloh Hill. Why can't I think of his name?
We'll just sit on that. But yeah, I'm excited. I just want somebody. And the thing is like the idea of it being Metro Boomin is exciting simply because obviously he's made tons of hit songs. So it's like, yeah, like he's a music producer. He's great. But I'm like, I also wouldn't mind just bringing in somebody who has the mind of like Jim Johnston, who like understands the power of music. So it's almost like, so it almost needs to be somebody who like makes music for movies. That's like what I think of, because like that's what Jim Johnston's doing now. You know, it's like that you understand how much a song can dictate the feeling of somebody or of a scene, of a moment. And so if Metro can do that, I'm all for it. Or it's like, move on to somebody who we have no idea who they are, but they put out bangers. Because I guarantee people did not know who the fuck Jim Johnson was before he got brought to WWE. But like, we're begging still for him to come back, you know? So if Metro can do it, I'm in. But otherwise, it's like, just get rid of Diff Rebel and bring somebody else in. Because when you have talent complaining about the music on Twitter, you know it's bad because it goes beyond the fans.
Well, you bring up a good point with the movies and TV thing. When I watch shows like Game of Thrones, Westworld, those soundtracks hook you into the show so much more. And the guy who does both those, Ramin Djawadi, he's one of my favorite composers because he makes you feel with what the songs or the music that he's composing. And that's someone who understands character. They understand, you know, situations, you know, how to hype up a crowd, scenes, all that. And when you bring in people like Def Rebel, CFO is okay too. They did put out some
CFOs did a lot better.
But they're just music guys, you know, they're not they're just music and not composers, you know, all that. So I do like that, and I would like to see
well, because like the way because the interviews that I've watched with Jim Johnson is he was talking about it like when you hear somebody like a wrestler song, like you immediately want to understand the type of person that they are. It's like when you hear the glass shatter and then the like, you know exactly that is a hardcore song. You know that dude is going to come out and kick ass. You know what I mean? Like, and you don't have to question. You're like, that's Stone Cold Steve Austin. He is a tough mother effer. Like, you don't have to guess at all about who this character is. Right now, it is far too often that you have to wait until you see the wrestler's name on the screen to figure out who this is. And their songs do not reflect who they are. So you couldn't even guess sometimes, like, oh, is it this person? Is it this person? No, because the song is not identifiable to who they are. So that makes it even more difficult to be like supportive of a group like Def Rebel sticking around. It's like you're not doing it well. You're missing the point.
You are missing the point. You're missing the boat here, peeps. Can't have that. Can't have that anymore. 3 to wrap it up. Just a quick little thing, because I want to just play the My Rise. I'm done streaming it because I just want to play it at this point. It's so fun. And I would much rather do universe mode, have that play through, do that original idea that I had, Sarah, when when 2K24 and the nonsense. Wrestling Federation, which I was doing it. I was letting it run through last night when I was playing Mario Kart with the boys, and I have set the shows for Raw and SmackDown like how if you and I ran Raw and SmackDown. Like my SmackDown show, you had Matt Cardona taking on MJF. Cody Rhodes versus Uncle Howdy was the main event, and that's the main title picture story. And then you have Pretty Deadly taking on SpongeBob and Patrick. Like, it's awesome. I think they fought in a tables match. Like,
who
there's
won?
Nonsense. SpongeBob and Patrick. I know they did. But you have on Raw, like, you had 3 women's matches, and Gunther main evented. So, like, I mean, who's running what show, really? And you're feuding with someone. Who are you feuding with? You're in a legit feud with your character. I don't think I've made Nonsense yet. But who would you like to see? My answer is Tigger.
My first thought was going to say Winnie the Pooh, but I almost don't want to see that because the way that they made him into like a horror movie character, I don't like that. And I don't want to contribute to that. So, because my Winnie the Pooh does not beat up people. He hugs people.
He hugs people and eats honey.
Maybe Stitch.
Stitch would go crazy in the ring.
Yeah, I mean,
That
especially if
man,
they have Alien Stitch, so he has like the extra arms.
yeah, that'd be very useful in the ring. Be very useful. I'd like to see Stitch. We gotta get some Disney in there. That's there's so many different things you can do in universe mode, and not only that, but just WWE with the community creations that I feel streaming that and doing stuff along with that and is better than just me playing My Rise, because like I want to play it. You know what I mean? Like it's so fun this year. You know, I preferred the female story in 2K24 because you did more. You weren't just going after the title and trying to defeat Roman Reigns and all this. You know, you were coming up from the indies. You didn't even want to be in WWE, but you did it as a favor, and then you realize, oh shit, like I actually want to be here. And there's like different little nuances. I mean, the people you're interacting with, it's so much better in the 2K25. Yeah, we're in 25. 2K25. My Rise mode is a lot better because you can be both male and female, but also there's an overarching story that is intriguing, like Triple H just allowing this mutiny to happen. Why?
Yeah.
You wouldn't want this, but they're NXT, so he wants to play. It's all like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of cool shit like that. I just want to play on my own. Where is the universe mode? Like the peeps would much rather enjoy that, and I can do comment. It'd be like another episode here, be just talking whatnot. So
Yeah.
we'll see where it goes. We got a lot of fun shit to do, and we're only growing every day. 950 subscribers at least on TikTok. Last I checked on here, we're at like 2,300 or something.
2326, I think.
Like we're growing every day, and it's great to see. So help us do that. Go over to twitch.tv/Nonsense Sports Network to find that. I'll tweet it out when I go live, and to go on Twitter and find me at Patty Pitts, and follow Sara as well at SMarshXO. Instagram at Patty Pitts, and TikTok at Patty Pitts. But we have and No Nights Off Show on TikTok as well. So go follow all those accounts. And let's go enjoy SmackDown because we're an hour in and I'm kind of hungry. So thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you next episode. God bless. And remember that you can do it. You just got to fucking try. See you guys later.